Hello children over 30, it's Drew back here with another product review, and today we're going to talk about all of the big wheels that I've been fortunate enough to try within the past year. Speaking of, and if you want to get straight to the wheel reviews, you can skip forward to where you start seeing pictures of wheels and stuff, but a little update on my skating. So we're about 2 weeks removed from my blade anniversary when I started skating again. For those of you that don't know, I am, at least historically speaking, primarily an aggressive skater. At least back in the day, that's what I did. And when I got back into skating last September, that was my intention. But pretty early on, I started just going hard on the big wheels. Like I saw the skate moves videos on Vimeo. I got, Wizard of Wall Street, all that stuff. Started checking out the mushroom blading dudes, the whole Wizard Frame dance franchise. And just been going hard on it for about a year now. I was fortunate enough, I think closer to late fall, to make a very dear new friend who goes hard on ice blades on the reg. And, just working with him and skating with him, skating with somebody better than you is always great. And yeah, looking back on my progress over the past year, I'm very satisfied. When I first started putting out Instagram videos, which I didn't even think anybody would see. Even these videos I didn't think anybody would see, and then like everybody did. But anyway, there were some people saying that it was like an embarrassment to mushroom blading and like telling me, oh, you shouldn't use that hashtag and you're just taking the shit that they do. And anyway, and so that's how it started out. And watching back on it, it was pretty shit. Flash forward a little bit later after, Leon and I started talking, and, I was getting a little bit better, and I would show him, and he was like, yeah, you're kind of on the right track, but, maybe change this thing and this thing. That's not exactly the right technique. And, now the past couple times I've sent him clips, he's been like genuinely impressed and told me like, yeah, that looks really clean. That's great. Let me tell you, I've been working my ass off for this past year, like skating between 3 and 5 days a week, like at least 2 hours. Over the summer, I put in like a lot of double sessions where I'll go like in the morning and then at night. Like, dude, I've been working so hard. And I guess the moral of the story is I'm proud to look at my Instagram clips over the past year and reflect. And B, later this fall, there's going to be a video coming out with me and aforementioned dear friend who goes hard on the ice blades and goes hard on the rollerblades too. It's going to be called City Blades, and we're just going to do kind of like a little footwork edit in our hometown of Wichita, Kansas. So it should be really cool. It should be full of the flow. I'm excited. We're going to start filming for it very soon, so stay tuned for that. Now, on to the wheels. Let's do the wheels. So first, let's talk about the Undercover 84As. They come in a full profile. The ones that I tried were 76 millimeter. These were actually the first big wheels that I tried. There was like a whole review that I did on them, so if you want a little bit more detail, you can check that out. But bullet points, they last long as hell. They're very, very, very grippy. Because of the full profile, they're not the best for edge work and stuff like that. They leave a lot to be desired in that category. Actually, if Undercover were to make this wheel in like a bullet profile, like all their other big wheels, I would totally snatch it up. But back to the profile, if you just want to like cruise through the city and like jump off a bunch of stuff, and you're looking for something that's not going to get caught in a bunch of narrow cracks in the sidewalk and is going to be nice and cushy, again, when you jump off stuff, like this is a really good wheel to look at. Again, don't expect it to be the best for edge work or anything like that, but for just skating, like striding, maybe a light slalom, and again, jumping off stuff, excellent option. The next one would be the Undercover 88As. So I haven't tried the 86, and I think I would really enjoy them, but I have tried the 84s and the 88s. And the 88s, I've tried the Eislers, which are like a 68 millimeter, and then I had 72s in the middle. It's banana rockered on that slalom frame. You can check out the Joe Atkinson mod for a little bit more information on that, or my video on the mod. But these wheels, kind of the same deal in that they seem to last for a really long time. They seem to be very good quality. The graphics on them last for a really long time. Being 88A, they were a little bit too, especially with this profile, because these are bullet profile, they were just slippery as hell. Like, I weigh about 130 pounds. Like, look, I'm pretty small. You guys see that I'm pretty small. So that little urethane touching the ground and that urethane being that hard, I was just sliding all over the place. And like, It's fun if you're trying to do that. Like if I was going to go out and try to do like wheel slides, like be one of those dudes, like this is a great wheel for that. But as far as actually being conducive to skating and, you know, being like sure in your strides and that sort of thing, it's a little bit too hard. If you're like a 180-pound dude, you might have a completely different experience than me. But for me personally, they were just a little bit too slip slidey. Next up is the Seba CC, which is an 84A. Biggest downside to this wheel is that I think it starts at like 90 millimeters. I would really like to see them make smaller versions of it because it's a pretty good wheel, and it's one of the more reasonably priced wheels. The undercovers are pretty expensive, by the way. But this is a pretty great all-around wheel. Minhee, I know, really likes it. They're more slidey than you would expect them to be for an 84A. I think probably a tiny bit of that has to do with the profile. It's not as bullet as like the Undercover bullet or like a hydrogen wheel. It's just a little bit fatter than that, but it will occasionally slide out on strides and stuff like that, depending on what surface you're skating on and how hard you're pushing into it, how deep of an edge you are, you know, that sort of thing. That being said, they're a great all-around wheel for somebody looking to, you know, do a bunch of slides, but then also do edge work and stuff like that. They're perfectly suited for both. I couldn't see somebody being objectively disappointed buying them and wanting them for one of those purposes. As far as wear, they seem to wear pretty slow, especially given the price point. If they made 80s and 84s of this, I would probably heavily consider skating them, but they don't. The other Seba wheel I tried was the, I don't even know the name of it, but it's a standard ass like Seba 82A wheel. And the ones I got were actually kind of screwed up. Like the urethane, they weren't on the core straight or something like that. So they kind of like wobbled, and it was very, very slow experience. But overall, and I've kind of confirmed this with people that have skated them more, like it's not going to be the fastest wheel. It's not going to be the most durable wheel. Like, it is pretty sufficiently grippy, but I don't feel that overall it provides a very good skating experience. Just my personal opinion. Next up is the Labeda Asphalt. So, truth be told, I've only skated this in 59 millimeters. These are hockey wheels, and apparently goalies need like aggressive sized wheels, but the reason I wanted them is because they were the same bullet profile as all their other wheels. These wheels come in 59, 68, 72, 76, and 80. I wish they made an 84. I really do. Price-wise, these are probably the most modestly priced option. I think I paid $40 for a set of 8 of them, and I think the price is fairly consistent along the sizes. I remember a little bit ago I got some 68s of them, some 72s, that I was going to put in some eons, whatever you want to call them. And that deal ended up getting all fucked up, so I wasn't able to do that. So I still got the wheel sitting in my living room. But anyway, based on my experiences with the 59s, this is a really great feeling and rolling wheel. I've heard people talk about how hydrogen wheels feel like marshmallows when you skate on them, which I'll get to hydrogens a little bit later, but these feel extra marshmallowy. Like it's great. It's like your feet are just bouncy and you put some energy into a stride and you just go. Like it's a good feeling rolling wheel. And again, for $40 for 8 of them, like it's awesome. The one downside to them, and it's a big downside unfortunately, is that they just don't hold up to sliding abuse like really at all. And I kind of noticed this within the first couple days of skating them. I'd put quite a bit of distance on them for just being little wheels because I was trying to get used to them again. And for just rolling, they held up really, really well. Like I think I put a couple miles on them in like 59s and they still had the little lines in them, and I was super impressed, and I was like, oh my God, I found like the best wheel ever, and it's only $40 for 8 of them. This is amazing. But it turns out when you start doing slide things like hockey stops, T-stops, whatever, even, you know, your soul slides or acid slides or whatever, these wheels wear out doing those sort of things like really, really fast, which wouldn't really be a big deal for me because I'm so into footwork that the prospect of getting too into slides kind of scares me, because there's been a couple times where I've slid myself into some flat spots on the wheels and it just totally fucks up my edge work for like days, you know, until I get the flat spot worked out. So I don't really bother with them too much. Maybe one day I'll have a designated slide wheel skate setup, but today is not that day. Anyway, but sometimes you have to slide just to stop. You know, I mean, T-stops aside, if you're bombing a parking garage and, you know, there's a car coming, you know they don't see you, like, it's not a good idea to just stand there and try to spin out and stop without stopping, essentially. You have to stop sometimes. It's not safe to build a whole style of skating around the inability to stop. So for these, yeah, they're fun to roll. I really wish that the urethane was a little bit more durable. I'll probably still skate them on some stuff. I mean, at the price point, 8 of them being the same price roughly as like 4 undercovers, it's still a pretty good deal. I make a bunch of sizes that Rollerblade Hydrogen wheels don't come in. You know, they come in, well, there is a 59 Hydrogen, but it's an aggressive profile. And they don't make a 68, they don't make a 72, they don't make a 76. So it's probably going to be my go-to wheel for a while at least, for wheels in that range, unless I want to drop a bunch of money on some undercovers, which I'm still curious about the 86As, so that may be in the future. We'll see. Next, we got the Rollerblade Supreme wheel. This is an 85A, and this came on my Metro Blades. And wear-wise, these aren't too bad. They were a little bit faster than a Hydrogen wheel, even given the profile, which is a little bit fatter, but not too bad overall. You know, for like a stock wheel on a skate, I again put it in the upper echelon of that, which I mentioned in the Metro Blade C video that I did. With the big profile, again, very conducive to city skating and stuff, you know, skating across bricks and cobblestones and, you know, bombing hills and stuff like that. Very conducive wheel for that kind of thing. If unpredictable surfaces are like a big concern of yours, like this would be a very good wheel to consider. This is probably, if you're looking for that kind of wheel, I would say the Undercover 84A would be my #1 choice. And if you didn't want to drop that much money, which I completely understand, then I would point you to the Rollerblade Supreme wheel. For me, no edges, no dance, no deal. Which brings us to our last one, the Rollerblade Hydrogen wheel. And this thing, man, if it came in all the sizes I need, I would never skate anything else. Lately, I've been skating a Banana Rockered 84 in the middle, 80 on the outside with these, and that Symmetrics frame that I just reviewed, actually. And before that, I had them, and I think it was a Rollerblade Fusion X5? Is it the X5 that came with the 84s? So anyway, these wheels are just freaking incredible. Not quite as marshmallowy as the Labaydas, but they feel great under your feet. Wear-wise, they wear pretty slow. The edges are about perfect. The amount of grip to slide ratio for me is about perfect, except for right now they're kind of getting worn down and a little bit too squared off. So sometimes when I'll get on a deeper edge, they won't grip like they used to. But the important thing to take out of that is they used to, and they did for a long time. It's just now that my 84s are getting closer to like a 76, they're not holding up 100%, which is understandable. Price point on these is also excellent. I think 65 bucks gets you a set of 8 of them. Because of the profile, they're not going to be quite as good for mixed terrain as the Undercover 84 or the Rollerblade Supreme. For every other aspect and type of skating and thing that you'll need out of a wheel, I would place these at the very top, probably. This is my favorite wheel right now. I don't really see a reason to change to anything else. This is the closest to a perfect wheel that I've come across, so I'm definitely going to be skating them for the foreseeable future. As soon as Rollerblade gets them back in stock, I think I'm going to get about 6 sets of them for me and Bryant to split and shred them for like a whole year, and that's what we're going to be skating on City Blades. They're just great wheels. If I had to recommend one big wheel without knowing really how it's going to be used at all and just have to go with, yeah, this will probably be good for this person, it would be the Hydrogen wheel. So that's about it. Follow me on Instagram. I'll put the link in the description. That'll keep you updated on product reviews that I do. Again, the upcoming City Blades project, we're going to be throwing out little clips here and there. So yeah, fun times. See you soon.